Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. Thank you for coming.
That's a nice way to say it.
This is a crazy new idea, and it's really a testament to all of you all that you're here to participate in something so unusual and so untested, but so beautiful in all of those ways. So, my name is Matt Johnston. I am the publisher of PMA Magazine. We have a podcast. There are some issues here. If you want to buy one, all the money will go to the future Big Sandy Skatepark expansion. So you can take away a magazine and also help the cause that we're all here to celebrate this year. So today, what we're going to do, it's really simple. This is a storytelling circle. And what we're going to do is we are going to move through the circle. Every person that you see here is a leader in their community and has been working to create safe and accessible spaces that have become platforms for these incredible communities that are continuing to rise. And as the communities rise, the people within those communities elevate. And if you were at the park today, obviously you see that. The reason why you're here is because you understand that. So, we're going to find out how skateboarding, art, vibrant public spaces, and the human spirit are all mixing together across Montana and right here in Big Sandy to produce a fertile ground for serendipitous good things to happen for the benefit of everyone. That is the mission statement here. And so we're going to start by introducing everybody that's here. We have Kim Peterson, first and foremost. You can hold your applause to the end, please. Hold on, let me get the bios that I wrote down. Kim is an educator, lead skate coach for Girls on Shred, MPS team rider, and legendary skateboarder and snowboarder. If you don't know Kim, just check out Wikipedia. You'll be blown away. Andy Chemis. Please hold your applause, Andy Chemis. Andy Chemis, photographer, author, skateboarder, incredible human being. Chris Bacon, raise your hand, please, Chris. Author, Board of Missoula CEO, skateboarder and musician. Dan Reyes, filmmaker, storyteller, skateboarder. If you were in the auditorium at the high school earlier, you saw his film. It's incredible. Please go see it if you haven't seen it. Jay Stevens, skatepark advocate, skateboarder, another exemplary human being. Alora Carroll, skateboarder, MPS team rider. Billy and Catherine Coulon, skate park designers, builders, artists, and also skateboarders. We have some late folks that'll be here anytime soon. We'll introduce them when they show up. And then we have this guy. Does anybody know who this guy is? He just walked in.
Jason's out there.
This is Jeff Ament. He's the Montana Pool Service founder, artist, musician. He grew up here in Big Sandy, and he's also a skateboarder. JC, come on in. This is JC Larson. He's a skateboarder and MPS team rider. Come on in, join us. You're right here. Okay, and when you see Jay come in, Jay Bitsui is going to be here too. All right, so we're going to get started with Kim's story. Each storyteller has about 3 minutes. My role is to get out of the way, make sure everybody stays on time, and then we'll wrap up at the end. So please listen, enjoy. The only request I have of you, the audience, is to be present and to use your imaginations when they're telling these stories. They've spent a lot of time, actually. These aren't stories that that I'm hearing for the first time. We've actually worked individually with all of these storytellers, and they're going to take you on a little bit of a journey, but you need to actually be willing to go on that journey with them. So listen, be present, and actually try to imagine the details that they're bringing forth. And Kim, take it away.
Check. Okay, so in 2018, I started making annual visits to Box Elder Skate Park to offer lessons, support, and free gear to the local kids through Girls on Shred. We partnered with MPS to help cover the distance and began to expand our reach. In the years that followed, we added clinics in Malta, Big Sandy, Shelby, Havre, and Chinook. This annual trek has morphed into what we now call the Golden Triangle Tour. As many of you know, we are sitting in the middle of a massively high fertile agricultural triangle that yields a rich harvest of wheat and other grains due to an ideal climate and rich glacial till soils. I see this as a bit of a metaphor for what I see happening at the skate parks in this region. Fertile concrete, seeds planted, seeds nurtured, the hope of a bountiful harvest. It would be unrealistic to say that it was just that simple, that there are good years and not so good years. There is drought in the form of isolation. There are storms in the form of mental health issues related to that isolation. When a young person looks at you with pain and gratitude in their eyes and say, skateboarding saved my life, you know that they really mean it. So, for us at Girls on Shred, we saw the value in returning to these rural skate parks year after year, building community over time, slowly and carefully. There is always the hope that by spreading the stoke, the fire, the humanity of skateboarding, that the kids will pass it on, and even better yet, just make it their own. Which brings me back to our OG Box Elder crew, Rocky Boy Division, and one small moment when the impact of rural skate parks was glaringly clear. On an MPS fueled road trip, I transported the Rocky Boy Division plus J, Blackfeet Division, not to get it confused, to Wolf Point for their first ever skate jam that the Kankoo Skate Club put on. There were a lot of nerves, a little out of their comfort zone, but they conjured the courage to show up and rip. Surprisingly, the kids were asked to give speeches to the young skaters of Wolf Point. What impact has skateboarding had on your life? The answers were deep, introspective, and very real. Those are not my stories to tell, so I will share what I witnessed from my perspective. I saw a captivated audience of wide-eyed young skateboarders in Wolf Point, fully inspired, fully in awe of the crew and their insights. It is in the passing it on of it all where the true gold lies. In the stories, how life can improve, fear and anxiety can be managed through a small wooden toy and a skate park. So thank you to the Rocky Boy Division, the kids of Big Sandy like Levon and Henry, the Blackfeet Division like Jay and JC sitting right here, like Alora spreading joy and encouragement everywhere she goes at all times, and Dougie enthusiastically with so much heart helping a little guy in Chinook yesterday. So, you the young people keep passing it on because that shiz is golden.
Right on, give that for Tim Peterson, everybody. Okay, next up we have Andy Kemmis.
Thank you for all of this. Thanks for pulling this together. It's an honor to be here and be able to share stories and just talk about this. Yeah, it's really hard to think about like just one story or to think about or to narrow everything that I'm feeling and experiencing down to one story. Skateboarding has been a part of my life since I was 10, and it's just getting better and better and better the more that it grows in the state. And like when I had to think about one story, I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Because every relationship that I've had since I was 10, and now that I'm getting a little bit older, it means so much. But there was one particular story that really hit me when Chris and I were working on our book, Grit to Grind, that came out last year. And that was the story of Terrence Lozo on the Flathead Reservation. He was the first interview that we did for the book, and we sat down with him at the Ronan High School and we just talked and talked and talked, and barely had to ask him any questions. We had to ask a few leading questions that he just opened up and just went for it. And it was so impactful to see skateboarding through his eyes and to listen to what he's done for his community. There was one day that, in the story that he told us, he really wanted to go skate. He's having kind of a bad day. He's like, I don't have the gas money, I don't have a car right now, I can't get down to St. Ignatius, it's 30-some miles away, I just can't make it. Came home frustrated, like, I want a skate park in my town. So we started a petition, got some signatures, got some more signatures, it caught fire. We got involved, MPS got involved. Next thing you know, it's a kind of a going concern. And then, fast tracking along, there's almost a skate park getting ready to be built there. And then he starts a skate club in his high school. Like, Ronan has never had a skate club. There's hardly ever even skateboarding in Ronan. He started it, and it went from 0 to like 28 members overnight. And I mean, that just hit me so hard. But then as he kept on talking and talking, he was like, yeah, like, everyone's coming up to me asking me, how do I get involved? How do I get, like, I want to be there. Can I get a board? Can I do this? Can we get the art teacher involved? How are we gonna? And he was that nexus that brought everything together. And then he further told the story about, I would come back to school and everyone was kind of like propping him up and just lifting him up. He's like, but I never felt popular. I just felt seen. And I just always remember those words, that like, that's what it's all about, is shining the light on the kids that need it the most in these rural areas.
Thanks, Andy. If anybody's taking notes, being seen and the fact that we can learn so much from everyone around us if we just pay attention and we're willing to listen. Those are 2 things you should write down as takeaways from this conversation. Next up is Chris Bacon, everybody.
Hi. So I've worked at Board of Missoula since 1993, and as you can imagine, I've had about 1.4 trillion interactions with people from all walks of life over the last 33 years. I met my wife through the shop. I've met all of my best friends through the shop, pretty much all of these people here, and more. And I've been lucky enough to have turned at least half of those 1.4 trillion interactions into meaningful relationships. Many of which that I believe not only benefit our Montana skate scene, but the larger skate scene in the U.S. As well. So when I started seeing this 14-year-old kind of scruffy kid with basketball shorts and semi-long beautiful hair showing up to our Missoula skate spots, I started to take some notice. This was the early 2000s, and I think he started going to Elements, which was a competing shop at the time. And a few years before, I actually saw him at our shop. At Mobash, as Mobash was being built, this guy's Scabs that I was hearing about was be showing up to help, and he just wouldn't leave, and he kept bugging all the guys, all the grindline guys. How do I do this? How do I help? And this kid was extremely into skateboarding, and he had a really vibrant and creative personality. He was into the cool old stuff too, which was really fun for me and helped me know that some of the kids know about the past. And he always seemed to be making and building things to skate since he lived out in the boonies of Potomac. He had a real thirst for skate knowledge as well. So I watched this kid go through a lot of ups and downs over the years, but he's never given up on himself or his community. I've seen him go down skating super hard so many times. I've seen him get some concussions that had us really worried, and he just never stops. He works so hard on his skateboarding, and he's helped use that fire to ignite it in others. I think his catchphrase to Ripper's close to putting down a trick right now when we're skating is land or slam. I've also seen him go from the ergo mayor of Shitty City to what I'll say is his new title now, which is ambassador of Awesome Town. I've seen this guy lift himself up and out of the quagmire of too much partying, a place I know all too well myself. In doing this, he's helped show others what's possible, lead by example, and has become an immensely positive influence within our skate community. Through all of his own personal battles, injuries, and all that other crap that life throws at all of us, he's always wanted to better himself and his community and friends to help provide that sense of community that we all desperately need. He's become an accomplished skate park builder over the years, helping build parks and working on DIY spots across Montana, the Northwest, and many other spots across the U.S. too. He babysat both my kids, and now my oldest Felix, who's one of Ray's great friends, is working with Dreamland and Ennis building their first skate park. Every time he leaves, we're all a little bit sad because he's become our team leader for so many skaters in our area. I mean, he's the guy scheduling the next pour in the DIY. He's the guy that keeps bugging you to film. He's the guy who skates his face off and gets you so stoked. He's the guy who sticks with the crazy idea until it's been manifested. and he's the handyman with a plan. So I think Raymond's the kind of skater that sees skateboarding from the ground up and realizes the potential that all of us have within us to become a foundational part of something larger. Ray has used his talents to provide the next few generations of skateboarders and skate supporters with not only the physical concrete means to express themselves and grow, but also with the relationship and self-care skills that are also so important in creating lasting community. He does it all with honest purity that just draws you in like those deep blue eyes, wildly excited blue eyes. He drops in, he goes fast, he's creative, he gets the job done, and he makes it all look pretty magical along the way. So thanks, Ray, for keeping the dream alive and helping to build our future without losing our past.
Thanks, Chris. Next up, Dan Reyes.
Hi, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here talking. It's just feel blessed to share a room with all those dudes and all the stories. Thank you. And I have been working in a documentary about the scene here for 12 years. I've been fortunate enough to do that. And during that course of time, I've seen a bunch of stories that touch my heart, for sure. Kids like JC, Jay, a lot of other kids that I got to meet, and Ray, that caught my attention since the first time I saw him skating and being rad, dude. Just like, wow, that's incredible. But one thing that I want to point out is about the people that are not skateboarders that got their lives changed by skateboarding, by the skateboarding scene. And I'd like to point out people like Raymond Smith in Stevensville. He's not a skater, and he's like, he made a lot of efforts to get the Stevensville skate park done with his community. And when I interviewed him for the Montana Grand documentary, I could feel his energy, the frequency of his heart, about how deep that meant to him, how that made him change his perspective of life, really, and gave him a whole new horizon to look up to. The energy of the kids, the energy of skateboarding itself just gave him a whole new chapter in his life. I could tell that just by talking to him. And I know that up until today, I talked to him today, and he's been visiting new skate parks around. He's not very good about his health right now. He has been a little bit low, but he's been going to skate parks to freshen up. So even now, after building this park and doing that, what keeps him up is going to the new parks and see the energy around. And he helped a lot in other parks in the region. So for me, see how skateboarding is so powerful to reach people that are not skateboarders, it's really meaningful. And I also Christine Irby, which is a great example here. Everyone knows her, what she's done in Folsom Skate Park, in St. Ignatius Skate Park. All her work was just to protect her son in a small town that was having problem with kids drinking themselves to death. And she had to do something to lift up the community, lift up the kids that she could just see they were just jumping the cliff because they had nothing to do in that small town. And she saw somehow in skateboarding a chance to make the kids blow up their minds. And she saw that. And that changed her life as well. And when she got the chance to watch Montana Grand documentary, she was so hyped on it, so stoked on it. And for me, that was the highlight of it, because she said that she was like her, how can I say, a work of her life. Like now it's like she felt her work was done with everything. Anything could happen to her because it was her legacy there. That's pretty much what she said, and that was beautiful because she made a scene where all the skaters would go to St. Ignatius and stay in her house. I've been on the 4th of July in her house, packed with skateboarders that would treat her like mom, but mom would look like a skateboarder because she would be partying up with them. And it was incredible. They are cracking up fireworks out of their butt cracks. Can I say that? And she was like, yeah! I was screaming like, yeah! So that was insane. And having that was all about skateboarding. It's incredible. And then there's another person that I want to mention about the same thing is Travis Rhodes. He's from the Malta crew, and he was into skateboarding, but he didn't skateboard at all. And with the park built in Malta, yesterday was 10 years of the skate park was built in Malta, the grand opening, we were there. And the great thing about it is he started to skate past his 30s, 40s with his kid. So the parks are not only for the kids, the little kids who learn, or the shredders in their teenage years to skate, but people to start skate in any age. So it was great to witness him with their kids learning to skate together. Everyone looking goofy together. So I think that's the beautiful thing that I think it's magical that happened in this process. Besides the obvious stories of the kids, but how skateboarding really affected people that are not skateboarders. So that's why skateboarding is so magical. Yep, that's it.
Thank you, Daniel. Casey Stevens?
So my story kind of connects to all these stories, oddly enough. But a particular kid early on in our park's origin in 2017, the fall of 17, it was a very novel thing, a lot of traffic, a lot of curiosity. Naturally, the kind of standard stuff you'd expect. But there was this kid that kind of hung out just a little beyond the fringe, And I'd see him there a few days, and finally I got, pretty curious, and so I tried to approach and maybe engage and talk a little. Just got nothing. Just nothing, right? Not a response, not a glance, not like I didn't know, are we deaf? I wasn't sure, right? There was just nothing there. So we just kept going on this for a couple days, a few days, a week, and eventually, I get something. And then we get a little breakthrough, and then he comes a little closer, and then we get him in the park, and then we get him on a board, and we get him on board, and it all kind of takes on a life of its own from there, right? Like it often does. And he starts skating, and a few weeks go by, and I'm sitting there, and I realize I don't recognize this kid. He's not the same kid that was out there, To witness somebody completely redirect their life, as a result of having this available, is pretty powerful. And I think small town skate parks should get a lot of credit for that. There's a lot of need, there's a lot of need. There's a lot of people that don't know how to manage what they're dealing with, and this provides them that brief escape to find themselves. And the collateral ripple effect as a result of that, it continues to get bigger. It continues to have a bigger footprint of positive impact. It reaches more people, and it's a thing that just builds energy and momentum that when we're all gone and forgotten, this thing's going to roll on, and more people are going to enjoy the benefit of it. And that hits me pretty hard. So
Thank you, Jay.
that's my jam.
Next up, we got Laura Carroll.
You guys are making me cry. I love you. I love you, Kim. Thank you. I just took like 5. Okay.
I'll take it. I need them.
Oh yeah. So before I had started skating, and even after I did start skating in the beginning, I didn't really have like a set group of friends. I was still pretty bubbly as a kid, and I was kind of friends with everybody, but there's just like those cliques, those groups, and I didn't really have that. So picking up a board and meeting new people, that was so big for me. I had a really strong support group, and it was amazing. One year at the pig roast, it was me and 7 or 8 other kids, and we were all like gathered around in this big circle, and oh my gosh, there's a big surprise, there's something that's like this, we all gotta go over here. And we were just so excited, and everyone, oh my gosh, I can just see their faces. We were all smiling, so excited. And Jeff pulls out these bags from his van, and they're huge and full of gear, and it was for a trip that we got to go on to Woodward. And oh my gosh, just to be seen by all these people, and to know that there's a group supporting you no matter what you're doing. If you're just dropping in for the first time, they're there for you. If you're doing some big crazy trick, they're there cheering you on. The pig roast feels more like a family reunion than just a big event now. I think that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Laura. Next up, now, are you guys telling the story together, or are you okay? So this is Billy and Catherine.
We're married, so we tell our stories together.
Get a lot of stories.
So this is kind of a long story, but I'm going to try and condense it into 3 minutes. So I don't know. It doesn't really have an ending because it's still going. So, you know, we've been building parks for a lot of years before we teamed up with Jeff, and the first project he had us do was out in Browning, and I got to make it short, but you know, the park we made there, we had an opportunity to kind of just do, you know, what we wanted, and we were a pretty young company at that time. We had to do whatever we had to do to keep projects going, so we had to build a lot of other people's designs, and we didn't really feel like we got to do our best work, and we didn't get to do what was, you know, the crazier things in our minds and our ideas. We wanted to build a pump bump park. That's what we were calling it at the time. For years before that, kind of a snake run style park. And Jeff wanted a bowl, and he said, you know, I want this specific bowl, and whatever else you want to do with the money, you can do it. Build street course or something. So I was like, okay, well, now it's time to build a pump bump park. And there's a whole long story behind that. But yeah, so we built the pump bump park, and we loved it. It rolled so good. Jeff and his friends liked it. The bowl skated super good. And then this thing happened where Jeff passed out some boards to the kids there. And, you know, the whole time we worked there wasn't much like skaters coming by. There wasn't a skate shop in town. There wasn't like there wasn't a skate culture like I was used to there. And, you know, the boards got passed out, and then it was like Thanksgiving time, so it was cold. And then the kids started trickling out there once the fence was down, and we were still there for a few days after that, packing up our stuff. And I saw the kids, you know, get on these boards, and they didn't even have to push. They just kind of rolled down some gentle inclines, because around the outside of the park, we purposely kind of made it really easy and no spot where you had to like roll in on anything. And the kids, they're showing up in like sandals, cowboy boots, like I said, they couldn't even push, but they stood on the board and were able to roll, and then all of a sudden they roll up and over a bump, and then roll a little bit more up and over another bump, and within a half hour they're making around the entire park. And then by the next day they're kind of moving towards the center of the park. And it like clicked with me all of a sudden that like before it was so important to build a park that like a pro would come there and just blast, and oh man, that we just nailed it. That's so good. That's you know, that's what we came here to do, build it so people could rip it. But then when I seen a kid that just had no idea about skating at all, and not even just one kid, a lot of kids, be able to just ride instantly, and they're hooked and they're not leaving, you know, that all of a sudden became like, man, that's what I'm after. Actually, that was like the best feeling ever. And then we came back in the spring, and man, I mean, it's Browning, it's cold. Like, you didn't think these people would be skating over the winter, but man, they were skating. We came back, there was a lot of kids, and they were ripping. They were like not skating like I seen other people skate. Like, they just rolling in everywhere, and like just, they didn't use the skate terms either. Like, they didn't even call it skating, they called it driving. They're like, oh yeah, look, he's real good at driving, you know, like, and it was just so amazing to see a totally different type of skating like come out of that. And it was like breaking evolution or something. It like reminded me of like some Galapagos Island stuff. Like, this wasn't supposed to happen like this. Like, and then it just continued. Every year we come back, these guys are getting crazier and crazier, ripping harder and harder. And then it wasn't just the Browning Park. It's like every park after that. Like, there's just a group of kids there, and that's kind of what shaped the parks. That's why the parks look the way that they look, because that just seeing that beginning user get in there and just be totally addicted to being there. It's like, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no end to my story because the story is still going. Jump in there.
Oh, I just remember us finishing the park and then going back in the spring. I actually had gone to Stevensville to meet with Ray, and then I drove up to Browning, and I just sat there and watched the kids skate, and my mind was blown. It was like sunset. It was gorgeous. I couldn't believe how the kids were skating. It was like we had hoped that it would work that way, and I was like, oh, it worked. It worked. These kids are just ripping around, having the greatest time, and they've just taken to this park so well, and it was like, it was just such an amazing thing to see, and they were all together having a great time. Dogs everywhere, no parents, it was like the 80s, no helmets, it was fantastic. Yeah, and yeah, that park was a really moving experience.
And I mean, still to this day, it's like, the rural towns, it's so amazing to just be able to get the parks there and get that there. Like, what Jeff's doing, like I said, it's breaking evolution. It wasn't supposed to happen. But now it's happening, and, like, look at all these people here, like, and everybody coming to Montana to do these trips and ride these parks and do their best riding here and take advantage of that easy line on the outside that kind of brings you towards the inside. I mean, I see it in places like there'll be a baseball, field next door, and the kid's got little league practice, and he sees his buddy over at the park, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go check my friend out. Then he jumps on his friend's board. He's got cleats on. Hour goes by, the kid's still there skating with cleats. Parents come by, hey, you missed the game. It's like, yeah, we're just recruiting more on, for the skate park.
Great. Brilliant, Catherine. Everybody skate park. Next up, JC. Can they see you? Can you guys say JC over here?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready, man?
Yeah, I'm ready. Skateboarding. I'm so grateful for that. And your story. It hit.
Those kids.
Yeah, that story hit. And it's amazing what skateboarding done for me. So all these opportunities that this sport gave me, I would have never thought it did. I got to travel all over the place, meet all these people, connect with all these new people from all over the world, and skateboarding. I don't even know. I wasn't really prepared for this, but I'm really grateful for skateboarding and Jeff and Billy.
JC, can you think of an example of something that you can describe for us before the skate park was built? It could be a person, or it could be something in your life, it could be something inside of you before the skate park was built, and then describe it now and have it and illustrate for us how that is different.
Yeah, so before the skate park back home, we just these little res kids, riding these horses and getting chased by these dogs on bikes. The skate park. Then skate park came around. I didn't even know what a skate park was. I went out there when they took the gates away from the park, and I remember too. It was rainy that day. I went down the most mellowest little hump that we have there, and I wrecked pretty bad. And I'm like, all right, I want nothing to do with skateboarding, But the next day I was right back out there, and I don't know what happened. It just it stuck, and I just fell in love with it. And it just means a lot to me. Skateboarding's my whole world, pretty much. And I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing without it, So just want to thank all you guys.
Thanks, JC. see Jay Katsuya out there? Jay, if you're here, come fly in here. Otherwise, I'm going to give it to Jeff. What's that?
I guess I'm next. The thing that I keep thinking about is that this whole trip for me started with just like a little bit of energy, like when I was a kid and my cousin had a skateboard and a skateboarder magazine, and that gave me this little bit of energy, and then all of a sudden I went from being like a kid that played sports in a little town to like actively looking for other places to skate and asking questions about people around the state that had ramps, and at that time, like 1977, there was probably 4 or 5 ramps in the state, and I actively seeked out those people, and I went to the state fair and met people, and then there I found out I saw a ramp in a backyard in Havre, and it's amazing that little bit of energy, especially the energy that I got back from folks, that it's turned into this. Like, it's crazy. It's like, because this whole thing was pretty happenstance. There was no premeditated idea, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, that it was going to turn into this. And the best part of coming back to the pig roast is every single person that I see that I've met before, I think of a session, or I think of telling a story about how they fell in love with skateboarding. And to be honest, the most frustrating part is the day is not long enough. It's like I don't have enough time to talk to everybody that I want to talk to. And it's one of those things where you see somebody that it's like, oh, I haven't seen that. Oh, right, I really want to talk to that guy or that lady that I haven't talked to in 3 years. And it's a crazy thing that this has turned into, because like I said, it wasn't planned. It wasn't planned that we were going to be involved with 30-some skate parks in the state, and that there's 7 or 8 more penciled in for the next couple of years, and I couldn't be more grateful. I feel like I have so many friends that I still don't know that well, and that I want to get to know better. And thanks for the energy, because the whole thing is getting some positive energy back from somebody, and then just having that run through your body and passing it on to the next person. And all these stories today, like I have my own visuals for all these stories, and it's just such a fucking rad thing. It's just so cool. Every story, I felt like I wanted to change my story when Kim started talking, and then when Andy and Chris started, I wanted to tell a story about Ray, and then I wanted to tell a story about Alora and Kyler, and then those early days in the Browning skate park. When we went back that spring, man, I showed up unannounced, and there was 50 kids ripping around the park, and kids in cowboy boots, and I was like, wow, like beyond my wildest dreams, like this big chance that we took, because that was a park that we sort of I put all the chips on the table for that one, thinking like, let's just go big on this one and see what happens. And building that park was the thing that sort of made me decide, like, okay, that's what I'm doing. That's where we're headed on this thing. We're going to go to all the small towns, and we're going to talk people into building skate parks, and that's 30 parks later, here we are. So thank you. Thanks to everybody for coming. It means so much. Coming to Big Sandy, building a skate park in Big Sandy, and having a pig roast started off almost as a dare and as a challenge to people, to get people to come all the fucking way up here, because it's the hardest place in the world to get to. And I thought, if I can get like a couple of my professional dudes from California out here, man, that'll be something, And the first year we had 30, 40 people here. The next year it turned into 60 people. The next year it turned into 80 people, and then all of a sudden it was 100 plus. And now there's a couple hundred people here, 150 people here, whatever it is. And there's the sort of devilish part of me is so happy that like everybody came up here, to the middle of nowhere, and that
everybody has a good time, and that there's an art gallery show, and there's some punk rock bands, and my friend Mike Moraski, who I grew up skateboarding against in contest, is playing with this band Steel Pole Bathtub next door. And Dale was also, I skated against Dale. My Missoula friends I'm in a punk rock band with, they're here. They were all skateboarders at one time or another. So it's just like, it's the coolest, like if you could ask me 30 years ago, what's the coolest, most out there idea, this would have been it. So, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Jay right now, because Jay was late, he's in his tent.
Jeff Annette, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, Jay, one more story.
Hey, sorry for being late, guys. I was trying my best to get here, but some things that popped up. I'm sorry about that, guys. I appreciate you guys being here and waiting for me. I don't know where to really start, but I know for sure, for like skating wise, like if it wasn't for Jeff, I wouldn't have met the people I've met, and it's crazy because I've met so many new young skaters with these parks popping up everywhere, and I've seen how much it changed their lives and see how motivated they are to just get on board and have a good time. And it's nice to see that, because I didn't expect me as a person to be on a board a few years later and continuing this. I just picked up the board just because I wanted something to do. Didn't know it was gonna turn into something like I love and I chase every day, and that board follows me like everywhere. I don't leave without it. It's always by my side, and I'm just so thankful for everybody here, especially Bacon here and like the community I met in Missoula and traveling throughout Montana. Like, it just shows how great the community is in Montana for skating, and I'm so thankful for that, like more than anything. Did not know skating was a thing until Jeff built the park in Browning, and it just changed my life for sure. And I was just getting the post office in East Glacier. There's nothing in East Glacier but dirt roads. So like, I found out about this park, and the opening day I went there, and I wasn't the greatest skater for sure. Like, I was learning, still learning to this day. That's the reason why I love this sport. I mean, art, whatever you want to call it, but it's definitely more of an art because everyone got their own style on the board, and you can see it, and it's just like you can ride off the energy and like continue to like push each other, and it's like, I don't want to explain it. It's just this energy at the park when you're skating with everyone. Everyone's throwing down, motivates you to be better on the board, and I just love that. And Jeff has opened my eyes up to like the scenery in Washington and everything, and I've done some trips with like my homies in Idaho, met some great people, and it's crazy how big this Big Sandy event you put on has grown since I've started, and I don't know, I can't be more thankful for anything else, honestly.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Okay, so these people have all really spent a lot of time and thought about their stories, and they really opened up to you and were very transparent. And so we're going to ask one little thing of you before you leave, and then we're going to let you out of here. So whether you're comfortable or not, just if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, that's okay. You can leave your eyes open and look at all the other people closing in their eyes. Okay, but what I want you to do is I want you just to close your eyes for a second. And now I want you to you've been listening, imagine and visualize. Think about the spaces that these people told you about. Imagine them, visualize them, and they can be your versions of all these things. They don't have to be actual things. You can imagine bigger, greater, more fantastical versions of these things. It's really important that you just feel free to visualize whatever comes up. Now think about the people that they told you about that are benefiting from these spaces. Okay? See it? Go there. Now you're there. Now think about our world, the whole world. Think about places like Uganda, Antarctica, Ukraine, Egypt. Pick a place, just imagine it. Now, imagine that place, or anywhere in the world, or the whole world, where everyone, everywhere, had a place, a space, a platform, like the skate parks that we're talking about, that are ripe fields to grow expression, movement, growth, a place to be seen, a place to be heard, a place to be yourself. Now, ask yourself how this world you're imagining would feel to live in. Go there, be in it, feel what that would be like. Now, what's different about your life in this new world that you're imagining? What's different about your daily interactions with people who are all experiencing this amazing reality? How do your priorities change? Where do you direct your energy? What do you do differently with your time? How is your life lived in that environment? And just sit there and be there. I'm going to wait. This is what we, the people here, you, everybody, this is what we are doing. We are creating this world. And we might just be creating it here in Big Sandy today, or we might be creating it in Montana rural communities tomorrow, yesterday. And some days it's through skate parks or skating, and other days it's through making art, like you have in the gallery here, or films, or records. Every one of us here has a way to contribute to the creation of the world that we are able to imagine. A world that we want to live in. Now open your eyes. Go do it. Thank you for coming.